This man is 7 foot tall, 360 pounds. He's big. How do you stop this man? Defensively, how do you minimize his impact? Well, I've got a couple opinions on that, but you got to stick around to the end of the video. What is good, everybody out there? Thanks again for checking into another episode of Court Thoughts, the channel where we basically talk basketball. On this episode, I am reacting to an absolute fan favorite. This man is an inspiration to all of us out there that just makes your heart feel a little bit warm and fuzzy.
You're so fluffy!
So, look, let's get straight into it. Who are we reacting to today? We are reacting to Connor Williams. This man is 7 foot tall, 360 pounds. My man's like the albino Escalade. My man's got game. And look, I stumbled across him on, I think it was Instagram.
Non-conference games, nobody wants to play it.
Yep. And the big guy Williams hits the floor there.
He rolled his ankle.
Yeah, he's grimacing, you can tell, but he'll make the nice pass.
I was like, damn, I gotta do a reaction to this dude. So that's exactly what we're doing today. Now the video itself is from one of our fan favorites over here, man. Courtside Films. Guys, please make sure you jump over there, you give him a like and subscribe. The video itself is called 7 foot, 360 pound Connor Williams highlights America's favorite college athlete. Let's jump straight into it. Let's check out the video. All right, guys, let's check out Courtside Films video. Let's do it. Yay! Big man. Great release. Post up, body positioning. Ooh. Man, that's going to be so uncomfortable to play with a mask. Jump in the comments and let me know if you've had to play a game with a mask on, bro. That just looks hella uncomfortable. Great pass. Hard to see with the panning of the video, but it looks like he was able to get into a good spot. Sagging out. He wants to shoot. Yeah. He's got a good release. Yay. Oof. Nice turnaround. Man, that's got to be so hard on his body being that big, eh? Oof. Dude. Great pass. That there's just really fixable with something like a shell drill in denying that low post weak side movement. Yeah, you got to move the ball around. Yeah. My man's got vision, bro. He's got them goggles on. Good use of the elbow. Not in an offensive manner, but very Shaq-esque in being able to curl around the body. See how he immediately goes to pop out? Defensively, you have to recognize that. Like this man's trying to drop in and try and get behind. The counter movement has to be there. Whew. It's going to be real hard to defend someone that big, though. Great dime. Great dime. Sagging out again. Can't leave this man open, bro. He's dropping bombs. Great positioning, too. Yee! He's got a nice little tight hook, though. Oh, good fake. I love that Larry Bird fake. Yee! Look at that. That's hard. That's hard to stop, bro. Way to wall up. Bit hard. Oof. Bro. Yeah, good call. Good call. He's definitely not a black hole. He's comfortable with getting the ball out. Good movement. Yee! With the hops, bruh. Backing him down. Backing him down. Defensively, they're all trying to shift out and trying to bump around. And it's real hard if you have poor defensive rotation. to try and stop that movement. Bro. I really like the fact that he's surveying the court before he's putting the ball on the ground. If you watch, he's looking around the court and seeing what's happening. Good dump pass. Woo. Great movement. Bro, he's like, that's a foul. Man, he's so big. It's hard to like get him. Yeah, see again, poor defensive rotation. Woo. Hey, yet another banger Courtside Films. Thank you so much. Alright guys, so for those of you that are new to the channel, at the end of the reaction, I give my breakdown and analysis of the highlights that I watched. So, let's get straight into it. The first thing that I want to comment to is Conor's fundamental movement and actions. It is hypercritical no matter what size you are to be fundamentally sound. And no matter what position you are, you need to be fundamentally sound. I thought that he did a fantastic job in looking out, surveying the floor, and looking at the options that were available. Additionally as well, you could see that although he's really quite a big guy, he was able to put the defense on their toes by being a passing threat, but also being a shooting threat. Now, I noticed as well that when you see that they would go into screening actions, like pick and roll actions, I didn't see him roll once. That could also be because of the fact that, well, you might not be able to get him doing that a lot. So offensively, the tactic might be Conor, screen and pop, don't roll. It's too much running for you. You're not going to be able to keep it, and we need you in the game more. I would try and force, as a defender, better movement. Defensively and cohesively, you need to be able to move more in a unified manner to be able to minimize that, but I'm going to come back to that in a minute. But I noticed that he was very comfortable in being in the top and pop situations. So I thought that was really cool. I liked his Shaq elbow movement. Now, what do I mean by that? If you go back and watch some highlights of Shaq when he was much younger, even when he was playing for the Lakers as well, he used to do this. He would basically use his elbow to feel around the player's shoulder and arm and kind of pin it, and then use that so that when he would turn, you can't counter that movement. I really like that movement, and I also like the fact that realistically, and I kind of touched on this a moment before, but he was very unselfish. Coming into the defensive movements and the way to sort of impact a player like Conor. The first thing that I'm going to call out is shell drill or team movement. Okay, on a defensive rotation. Quite a fair few times, I saw situations where Conor would pop up to the top, he had no intention of moving, and you would see that players were doubling down on where the ball was. Now that, as a defensive tactic, is not necessarily a bad thing. However, the counter-defensive positioning is hypercritical. What do I mean by that? If the ball is over to one side of the court, the other side of the court has to compensate for that movement, okay? So we have to have help side defense positioned in a way where they're trying to minimize driving threats, but they're also positioning themselves that they can't make cross-court passes. Ultimately, if they want to make that pass, what we would call it, that's a hospital pass. The reason is because if you do that pass, you go in a hospital. It's dangerous. It's dumb. There's mostly players, a bulk of players that are in that positioning, and it's easy to pick those passes off. It's also a longer distance, and because you can't pass it straight through, generally, you have to float it or lob it, which means it's got more flight, which means it's easy to pick off. This weak side action, the side that's away from the ball, has to move and minimize those options. Now, even in those situations where the doubling side action was happening, that counter action wasn't happening. So the players were able just to sort of dump the ball off one pass away and then able to move the ball around, and the The ball always moves faster than the player. If I throw a ball down the court, I promise you, even Usain Bolt couldn't get to the end of the court before the ball does. So if you're able to quickly move the ball around, players have to shift and counter their movements, and it makes it easier to disrupt the defense. But if you can have better positioning, you minimize easier options. So that's a big critical factor. The other thing is that you could see that when he was getting into the block, obviously the fact that he is 360 pounds, I mean, I don't even know what that is in kilos. We use kilograms here in Australia, but my man looked big, okay? And he's 7 foot tall. He's basically gonna get to wherever the position on the court is that he wants to. The best defensive tactic that I'm aware of that you could use to try and minimize that is denying the passes into the ball. You wanna try and make the other players be impactful. You're not gonna have a squad full of NBA superstars in one high school, okay? You generally on one team, you might be lucky to have 2, maybe 3 super threats. It generally starts to deteriorate into role players and positional players. Anyways, my point being is that if you can take away from the strengths of the strongest player or the stronger players, you're then making them play less advantageously. Point being is that you want to make them play out of comfort. It's ultimately the best thing that you can do for your team, and being able to contribute, if you can just disrupt their style of play and take them out of their movement, you're gonna win games. If they like to run, make them slow the ball down. If they don't like to run, make them run, push the ball up, tire them out. It's just these types of things. It's really simple. It's counter movement. This type of tactic, whether you're a young coach or whether you're a young player or whether you're whoever, you need to recognize what they're doing and try and get them to do the opposite, and hope that, well, that makes them uncomfortable. If they want to go right, make them go left, vice versa. Really simple fundamentals. But that is going to do it for today's video. First and foremost, guys, I am still pushing to try and hit that mountaintop of 1,000 subscribers. So please help your boy out by liking and subscribing. Also by hitting that notification bell just to make sure that you're in the loop when a new video comes out. Stay connected to your boy, okay? And also, big shout out to all the fans out there leaving me comments and recommendations for other players out there. I promise if you leave me a comment, I will respond to it. But that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for kicking it with your boy. And until next time, make sure you're looking after yourself, you take care, and be safe. All right, peace.